So what happened today, we do have one angel and demon deck over here before we start doing a story time. What happened was we were talking outside of which story to tell, and the moment I had an idea but I didn't tell it to Joe just yet. Joe, what did you see behind us? Behind me?
Crazy, she was talking, and as she was talking, we were outside, and she's talking, and out of nowhere, I look up into the sky, and there's this beam of light. It's like a orb, but it was really bright, and it like beamed up, and it came back down, and my face, she was talking, and she was kind of like looking at me like, what is going on? And I was like, oh my god, I just saw something. And straight away she was like, it was your angel. And I was like,
we straight away assumed that he was like, okay, what did you want to tell me? What was the story time that we should do? And I think that was an approval from one of them. So we have two decks over here, and we wanted to record this to see which one it was. It's the story time is to do with how we met and our household. So if any of these will be talking about that, we'll know which one it is.
and they're both linked with tarot as well, so we can.
Yeah.
It's a pity I didn't have the oracle one as well.
All right. What do we have? What do we have?
Four of Wands.
Oh no, this is a home card. Household.
Helps one live in peace with everyone.
Oh my god, this is the story time we wanted to tell you about, guys. I knew it. This is the angel, right? Because demon wouldn't come through that
It's four
light.
It's Four of Wands, and this angel is the fifth angel in
Can I zoom
the
in?
Book of Solomon. So
Okay.
I'll just pull the demon, but I don't need to, because I knew that was an angel, obviously. But both, I feel like I have
What was that one?
Beelzebub, the moon.
Makes manifest the apparitions of demons, sets demons upon men to destroy them with vice. That was definitely an angel.
Yeah.
And can you quickly find Four of Wands? People who don't know tarot, what Four of Wands is literally the story time about household and how we're trying to find home and what happened.
When I do this, it's always like at the end of the deck.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
So it's all about household and like setting up the home and, you know, feeling great wherever you are. So yeah, we're gonna, I think, hop into the story time in a second. Here we go.
I spelled it. I
was
know you were gonna
channeling.
do that.
Okay, guys.
I need to take a drink.
This is gonna be a fun story time. So, a lot of you have been asking, are we a couple? Do we live together? What the heck is going on? Because it's strange for two tarot readers to be under one roof. Joe and my best friend are together, so we are not together.
He's in there.
He is in another room, chilling.
He's not as spiritual as us.
No. But yeah, so I think the story will be interesting. And I kind of want you to start. Because you were coming into the place where I used to work, I think.
So it started off like before I met Brigitte, I was going through loads of things. Like I was starting to like realize what my gifts were, and I realized I didn't want to be an actor anymore, and I was like, oh.
Include that story quickly about your fortune teller.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna adjust
I went to a fortune teller, and she told me like she said you're going to move to London, you're going to meet someone who's really special to you, and she told me that I was going to be very well known, and back then, because I didn't really believe in tarot, I was always thinking like it wasn't real, and I was like, nah, it's just...
Didn't you really believe in it?
No, I didn't believe in it, because for me it just wasn't... I wasn't at that point in my life where I was happy, so I was very depressed, and
Okay.
and I was like, this can't be true, this is blah blah, whatever. And I always wanted to be an actor. And she had told me, she was like, you're going to be very well known, I see that you will be on screen and you're gonna have a lot of people who look up to you and like what you're doing. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be an actor. I'm gonna be.
Yeah, because it's the only thing that your ego knows of at that moment.
So a lot of the time, like when we talk about which path you should be on, we don't always know, because for me, she told me what I wanted to hear, but she wasn't. When I asked her, I was like, oh, so I'm going to be a successful actor, and she was like, and now us both being tarot readers, people ask us stuff sometimes, and we're like,
sometimes you don't have to know, guys. Unfortunately, my tarot reader said, well, she was very secretive as well, because I was studying architecture. I think I was in my 2nd or 3rd year, and I was like, oh, tell me, how's my career gonna go, and what I'm gonna do and stuff like that. And she looked at the cards and she smiled, but like creepy. She would take the card and she was like, and then she's like, you're going to do things that your brain cannot process right now. And she didn't tell me anything else. And I think that's the best thing.
Yeah.
So if a tarot reader is not telling you something fully, or tells you something that you can't imagine something, happening or whatever, just leave it there. Okay.
And that's kind of what had happened. She kind of was like, I don't really know. I wouldn't say acting because I'm not sure, but I'm just telling you what I feel. And now looking back on it, everything was right, and it got to a point where I was like, so when's the acting gonna happen? Because
here you go, you can act now. You're on the screen.
And I was like, okay, everything else was right, but I'm not an actor yet. But that was my ego. I was
perception.
Like,
yeah.
And now I look at it. I do YouTube. I have people who are my following who look at me, and
you were doing YouTube prior to this.
Oh yes, and that's part of the story. We'll get into that when we talk maybe about when she decided to do the YouTube thing.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that. But basically, I was starting to get into it. I was with another housemate that I lived with at the time, and I was telling her things I was going through, because at that time I was just getting through that part of my spirituality where I started to see things and spirits were coming to me, and that happens in the first stage, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, then I met Brigitte through my partner, because they were best friends. But she used to work in a bar, and we would go there and he'd be like, oh, I'm going to go see Brigitte. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I would talk to her and be like, hi. And she'd be like, hi. And we would both kind of just be like, And it wasn't until later when we actually sat down and got to talk that we realised why we were kind of off with each other, because I always thought, I would think, what, there's something weird about her. I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't get it. And you thought the same about me.
Yeah, I wasn't fully understanding what's going on, kind of thing. And I think it happens a lot when you have those really serious kind of connections. So the people who have to stick with you, or they give you something, or they tell you something, at first you're kind of scanning them, you know, and you're like, what's up with you? I'm not sure if I like you. And that's what happens. And
then anyway, we moved in together.
But before moving, I have a story though, a little story.
So many stories.
I was living in the house with my friend. I went out for a cigarette with her in our garden, and I said to her, you know what, such a strange feeling. I feel like I don't live in this house anymore. I'm visiting you. And the next thing I know, Evaldas, who's his partner, so let's just call him by his name. Evaldas called me saying hey, you know what, I have this apartment, my friend is living in London, and we can have this all to ourselves and blah blah blah. Do you wanna live with me? Funny fact, he was the first person I lived with when I just moved to London.
That's crazy.
And here we go, 8 years later or something like that. We're 8 years actually. You know, numbers are important here. Moved in together, and we are kind of still trying to get to know each other. And one night, I think it was one bottle of wine in, that we started we saw each other, and we can talk about those things. We started talking about tarot somehow, and then I remember what you said.
It started first though, we both shared that we went through a near-death experience.
Yeah.
We were trying to
share the
our
difficulty.
dark side of ourselves, because we felt like, I don't know, it felt like that's what we needed to do to get closer, is to share what deep down we went through. And then
I remember saying, I said, Joe, I have a tarot deck in my room. And he leaned back and he went, honey, I have a couple. And that's when it started. It was from then on, we were doing tarot every day, practicing AF.
And I'll never forget.
Even though we did that before.
Yeah, but I'll never forget whenever, I don't know what question it was or what we were going to be doing, but you were like,
I've asked you to do a reading for me.
Yeah.
Remember?
And she asked me to do a reading, and I was like, okay. And then I'm like, not trusting myself. I was like, I know what the cards had meant before, but I always just had a habit of going on Google and then just reading. So this card means, and you looked at me, you were like, no, read them what you see. And I was like, huh? Because I've never done that for anybody. I never had, at that time, I never done it for anyone, just my intuition. And I can't remember, but
and you smashed it.
You were like, you're so on point. And I was
like,
what?
He smashed it. And for a lot of you guys asking, like, how did you learn tarot? The moment, you have to know, obviously, the meanings of them, more or less, right? We knew that before, but we were like, I don't wanna screw things up. The moment you let go of that and you say, I'm just gonna read this card from my intuition, even if you feel like that card means something completely different for you than what's written in the book, trust it, because this is your intuition. So that was a really good beginning of us learning how to read purely intuitively. And then I had an idea. Well, this is another story, how I had this adventure. Should I include that? In Portugal?
Fuck it.
So what happened was, there was a time, for some of you maybe that's gonna help. You know how to find your life path. That's more or less where we go in here. Let me just adjust this then now. I was kind of listening to my gut saying, hey, because I'm the person who likes to explore by myself, and I'm just weird going for solo trips, but I always wanted to do that, but never did, because I was like, okay, maybe next time, and then I go with friends somewhere, but I always wanted to do it. And then I was in a house with Joe, and I'm like, I'm just gonna purely shut my intellect off and listen to my gut feeling. Where do I want to go and what do I want to do on this trip? Because I had no plan whatsoever. And I was being drawn to surfing from the middle of summer, and I don't know why. I'm terrified of waves. I need to close my nose to go underwater. I'm like, I'm a pussy when it comes to this, you know. I'm like, why the heck do I want to go surfing? And I was like, yeah, F it then. I'm gonna book surf holidays. So I booked surf holidays. It was the most challenging, but the best holiday I've been to, honestly. Because I've pushed myself to book dorm instead of booking a private room, just to interact with other people. So completely everything that I wanted, I've done it opposite way, you know. And I came back from that journey completely a different person.
So different.
You know, and that's when I was like, Joe, I want to start my YouTube. And that's when you told me, because you already have done YouTube before, but differently.
So she came to me and she's like, I think I really want to do YouTube. Because I had started doing Instagram and I was like, oh, pick a card on my stories on Instagram. And that wasn't really working because that was, for me, having ADHD. Nah, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to type out everything and my brain doesn't work that way. I would like to just speak. So she was telling me, oh, YouTube. And I instantly got triggered because I was like...
Past issues came back.
I was like, you want to do YouTube? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, how can I tell this to her?
Nicely.
And then I was like, I used to do YouTube. And I've always, from the minute, I don't know what it is, I always knew that I would be doing YouTube. And I know that now. But at that time, it didn't work out. And I think that happens with a lot of...
Because it wasn't the right thing for you to do.
And I think that happens actually with a lot of YouTubers. They start, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're starting for, but they just know that that's what they're meant to be doing. Happens a lot. But for me, I was doing like comedy kind of videos. I was wearing wigs. And
We're doing pretty well, I think. But it just took you a long time, right?
It took me a long time. She posted her video and she was like, oh, I've got like 300 views. And my jaw dropped. I was like...
I'm like, is that good or bad?
I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, that's so nice, isn't it? I was like, that's unbelievable.
I didn't have an idea what the name of a channel will be, and maybe some of you who are interested in. After the trip from Portugal, I had seashells that I've picked in like a pouch, and one day I wanted to clean my room, and I was reorganizing everything, like kind of, you know, putting my life in places, and I found that pouch, and I'm like, okay, water. I love water, but I'm scared of water. Okay, Aqua, Arcana, that's how it came together. And number 9 is just a number that's followed me, so there we go.
That's
throwing it out
funny, because I forgot. My name, the Raven Tarot, came...
Oh, yes, in the old house too.
In the old house as well. Came from... I remember this. This is the main... I'm not going to throw everything, but I kept seeing ravens. And for me, I'm afraid of birds. I don't like birds.
Isn't that funny how we both...
Oh my god, I just got that. What the fuck? So, the raven for me says like, it's even if you look up and Google raven as a spirit guide, it's all about facing your fears and embracing the darkness within you and blah blah blah. And that's kind of what I want my channel to grow towards, is embracing like the darkness. And I'll never forget, I was walking to work one day and just this raven flew right over me, and when I was walking home, another one flew past me again, and I was like, what is this with these ravens?
Then you'd go to smoke and there would be one just staring at you in the balcony. He's like, look at him, look at him.
What does he want from me? And then it just came from, I went through this phase of like, okay, ravens, what does this mean for me? I never really liked them. I'm always kind of afraid of them. And then that kind of, why I chose that name, it's kind of for me saying like, embrace the darkness, and that's what we're kind of about anyway.
Yeah, I think both of us want people to get out of their comfort zones and do things that you're not comfortable of.
Afraid of.
Yeah, doing, because the best things come out of that. So story time is gonna get a bit intense here. Basically, we had, funny fact, we had a holiday booked. It was a gift for his partner, okay? To get him out of London, we booked tickets to Portugal. So we're coming back to Portugal though. This is so strange.
We're just figuring things out now. So
right, as we go. So we had a trip coming up to Portugal. Right before the trip, him and his partner were in the pub, and we were living in the house of Evelda's friend. So I would always get the post and put it in a stack so she can get it herself. Her sister would pick it up, but we never really saw them until one day. And I would never touch post that is not ours. And that day I came back, I remember, with groceries. Like I had 2 bags of things and then my own bag, and I was so tired. I remember, terrible day in the office, And I checked the post box, and the only letter was there for his friend, not even my post, Joey's or Evelyn's. And I had this massive urge to open this letter. As I'm going up the stairs, I know I need to open this letter. And I had bags all over me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You can get it open once you get in the house. And what I see is the eviction notice. And then we realized that she hasn't been paying bills, that we were sending her money, you know, and she wouldn't pay anything. And then strange things were happening prior this letter, which Joey can speak about the wardrobe and everything and this.
So it was...
Brace yourselves.
I think I'm not sure, but I think it was before I got this the demon.
Yeah.
It was before I got this possessed demon tarot.
The demons are not going to leave the card and start attacking you in your living room.
It's really cool.
I was like noticing, like, what was it, the switch?
Yeah, we had one switch in the living room and no one would ever touch it. It's in the middle of the wall.
We
You
didn't
can't
even use
it.
it.
Like, why would you use it?
And I didn't tell anybody, but I would always, because I don't know, I have this weird thing when the switches are turned on.
Yeah.
I just don't like it because I'm like, why is that turned on?
Well, in London, guys, it's a bit different. I don't know where you live, but you know, you have a plug, and then next to it you have a switch, so it's off on or on.
So the switches was on.
And we're always asking each other, like, who the heck was using that plug? Like, we never use that.
Yeah, and there was a mouse in our house as well that was just running around, and I'm terrified of mice.
That was hilarious.
I was like, I cannot. And it was getting
so many weird things.
It was getting to the point where I was so afraid of this mouse.
Yeah.
We would hear it like running around because it would come through the whole.
That was a cute little one though.
They were like, oh, it's so cute, it's so cute.
We called it. We gave it a name, and we.
Michelle.
It was Michelle. With Fiat Michelle. Yeah. I mean, this was like everything was trying to get us out of the house.
And
you know.
I think then I recorded a video for YouTube, and as I'm recording the video, I don't actually know if I have it on my YouTube anymore, or it might have been a private reading, but the wardrobe collapsed in my room.
A couple of times.
And I was like, I stopped the video and I was like, can you get out of my room? I was like, stop! And I put the wardrobe up and I'm recording again, and it goes, I don't know what video that is, I don't know where that video is, but I just knew that there was something.
Your camera would switch off and you had to do it like a million times. Do you remember?
Oh my god, I was like...
The moment you press on, it goes off.
It was my phone was not letting me record.
Yeah.
Actually, you've just clarified that. There was no video because I couldn't record the video.
Yeah, I remember that part.
That's what it was. I actually don't have that video anywhere because I just deleted it all because I thought there was something wrong with my storage or something.
Yeah.
It's just everything... There's probably so many more stories, but everything was going wrong. And we had already done a reading before that, and it was saying 3 months.
Yeah, we didn't trust that. Like, I think you asked me to do timing on how long we're gonna stay in this house, because we knew that it was a temporary thing, and we knew we'd go somewhere else, because you know that house wasn't it was cool, but it had to be you know, a lot of things had to be fixed there for us to be living our best lives. And we wanted a brand new place. But where I was getting, there was one more thing I wanted to say.
I'll get into him in a second, but it's just he's not in the story right now.
Oh, by the way, one more thing, guys. If you don't want to use tarot, what you can do you remember the song that was actually saying getting us out of the house as well? So we would sit chill at the living room, and we'd play one song on YouTube, and you know, we're talking, we're doing whatever, like, and YouTube plays the suggested songs, you know, and we were asking for YouTube to give us kind of signs or messages for the next song, and one of the songs was saying, it was by Flora Cash. The song is called "The On This Town," and as we asked for the message, how, like, what's gonna happen with the house, because we're so lazy to move and everything, and we're trying to drag time, and it was saying you're gonna have to get the hell out of there.
It's not your home.
It's not your ground, you know. Things kept continuing happening in the house. Basically, things were going wrong, and like we were kind of being pushed out of the house without really realizing it. Just afterwards, it all kind of made sense. I think the first time you realized that we are being pushed out of the house was once you got the demon deck and you tried to connect to one of them.
But I started trying to work with demons. I downloaded audiobooks. I've read about demons, and I was like, this is very interesting. I'm afraid of it. One of the main things about working with demons is you shouldn't be afraid, because they don't have time for that. So I knew that.
They don't have time.
They don't. They're like, you pussy bitch, we don't want to work with you.
We're so gonna get demonetized for this video, the language we used it.
But like, it was, these demons are like, basically, get yourself together because I don't have time for this.
Yeah, tell me what you need.
But one of the demons that I worked with, which I've read up about, he's a very easy demon to work with, and he seems to keep popping up for us, like just when your friend was here as well.
Yeah, shout out to Lena. She saw that. And literally, the only thing we were talking about the story, the only thing I've done, I took his demon deck and I've done this, and the first thing I see, that card, and actually that's my over here, the higher soul connection.
Weird.
And look at these. Look
that
at
is
these.
So I just was like, huh?
Yeah, so that was the card that was literally, I'm still here, you know, like, I'm with you guys. But this guy was so helpful.
He, basically, I wasn't asking anything of him. I was just wanting to connect and talk. And I had written some things down. I'm not really sure, I don't really remember everything that came through. But he basically told me that he was the one that made her open the letter. He was the one that was
that was so freaky.
putting the messages, like switching on the switches. He was the one that was warning us for so long.
To get the heck out of the house.
Yeah. And just so many weird things happen with... There's this.
By the way, guys, whoever knows tarot, this is 6 of Cups. It's a beautiful card. It's all about nostalgia and, you know, people you've known in the past lives and, you know, really good connections. The card that I just showed you.
This demon really likes Brigitte. He came through and said how much he enjoys her and her.
I eat a lot of seafood, guys, and that's the sea creature.
He loves the feeling I imagined when I was trying to connect with him was when we were in Nazaré in Portugal, and we were at the cliffs, and when the waves would come.
Watch this one, Joe. Guys, you need to get back, get back. I got it on camera. Look at those daredevils. Run. Run. Big guy. Yes! One down. Watch this one, Joe.
And when the waves would come, that was the feeling I got when I was connecting with this angel. But this angel was basically telling
Demon.
me... Sorry. Oh my God. Sorry.
He's gonna punish you, come after you tonight.
No, he
Watch
won't.
out. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
he likes me. But yeah, he had basically said... I worked with him a few times, so I can't remember everything because different stories, different times. But basically, he had just told me, like, I had put those things there to warn you, to scare you, the mouse especially.
Yeah, for you, yeah. But, you know, it's like working with energies in general. Just pay attention, guys, what's going on. We had already clarification from tarot saying you're gonna be there for 3 months, but we didn't believe it. We're like, it's too soon, it's too soon. No, it's not too soon. That's what happened. And then Joe got the demon deck and things were happening in such a weird way. We're like, what is going on? Because we're so sure that whatever was happening in the house, it wasn't someone going against us. It was like a warning, but not a warning, but more like message, but we couldn't quite pick up what the message was. And
so then I felt like he's just with me now, because I felt like I heard, whoa, what about this now? So then we started asking the TV, okay, demon, send us a message through the TV.
My God, he got that deck. It was fresh thing, you know, and we never like talked about demons that much. Probably, I wish we had cameras in the house and we could show this to you guys. We asked music, so the next suggested song by YouTube just playing automatically. We asked I was actually the one laughing. I said, okay, if there are demons, show yourself.
This is not a joke.
This is not a joke. The next thing that happened was, I'm gonna show it to you guys. I'll lift my laptop
How can
up.
you, like, I can't even. This is crazy.
It's gonna be a really long story because it all ties in.
No,
Things
it
are tying
ties.
in. Okay, and that's the first thing that pops up, by the way.
I think I rolled onto the floor.
Yeah, it
I
was
couldn't.
very.
I
It
was like, because it
That's-
was clarifying that I'm not crazy, as always.
Many of you might think you are, but just connect the dots together.
Because then she was like shocked, and I seen her face, and I was like, and we fell in love with this song.
I thought my demons were almost defeated, but you took this side and you pulled them to freedom.
With the artist in general, and then, my God, how the heck we gonna finish this story, guys? Because this story tied in everything, and it's up to now. Why we were being pushed out of the old house, because one night we were sitting, chilling, and this woman's woman's family came in, and they were kind of trying to blame us for that it's our fault that she wasn't paying bills and stuff. And we're like, what the heck is going on here? And we were so shocked, and we were trying to, like, we were arguing this whole time, and we're like, we need to get the heck out of this, because they were trying to pick up some things of hers and looking for the post and everything, and we're like, okay, we need to get out. And we had a really short period of time, and we were like, okay, we need to start searching for the house. I'm really glad that I have been documenting this. We have cards laid out, the same ones I have in pictures, so I'm pulling out the screenshots from my Instagram posts. So the situation is stressful as I am moving the house. I need to do it ASAP. Finally booked a viewing, and what stood out in one room was the window. And the next thing I post is Joey has sent me a picture of one house, and I really fell in love with this window. It reminded me of the ocean vibes, and you know how I am. And then the next thing was I said I looked at the TV and YouTube is playing a random song. That's what we're gonna get.
This
into
came
the song.
after the Jacob Lee thing, just
Yeah,
so
after the demon. So random song, the scene I see freaks me out. To Tarot to ask if that's the flat I need. Now you tell me. And the next picture is, take a look at that card.
Is this card with a window in the background?
With a window, round window. You don't find it very often in London. And I've pulled the card, the one that Joey just showed, and the song that was playing.
Deep-rooted connections. When I look into your eyes,
Even those bits separating the window were very similar. And then I'm like, what the heck is going on, Joe? Is that the flat we have to take? Because I kind of felt like, I'm not sure. And then the next post I post is, then I asked the Raven Tarot to clarify with his deck and song, and then 2 more cards showing that round window. And then we were getting confused because we visited one place and it had that round window, and we're like, how do we get these signs? Like, is that the house we have to go for? It was a different house, not this one, but there were round windows everywhere. I'm like, what the heck?
There was a house before it as well that had the window.
Yeah.
We didn't take a picture of that. We walked into this, like, it was apartment complex, and we walked in, and every single door had the round window on the door, and we were like, oh my god, it's here as well. And also there was is it in this? I don't remember where. There was something from tarot, a globe, a black globe. We looked on all the poles. They had the black globe as well. I was like, oh, this must be it. This must be the one. But tarot was like, you never know with tarot. You always think, oh, this is it. This is it. But
And that's the lesson, guys. You might be tying things together, but it doesn't mean the first thing you see is your destination. Because we were kind of not feeling that house, even though that house had this amazing window that we've showed you. And Joe went for another viewing, and there was a picture of the corridor, and corridor had tiles a bit like, it reminded me Spain and Portugal. I'm like, oh my god, I love this, you know. And we came back from Portugal too, and it was so like nice to see that.
And the house next door to us looks like the house from Portugal.
Exactly.
It was just like,
it's painted in baby blue, and you don't see it that often in London. And we're like, wow, we stayed in a place similar to this. But then I was at work, and Joey was texting me when he was viewing the house, and I kept asking him, is there a round window? And he's like, there is no round window.
And before that as well, though, I was in the house, and we had already been viewing this house before, like weeks before. We'd been viewing this house, but somehow it came off the market.
Yeah.
And
It was so strange.
And we were like,
we saw that on the internet. We haven't viewed it just yet, but we kind of had an eye on it.
Yeah.
And it came back.
And it came back, and then I asked the landlord. I was like, how come this was on the, like, why was it on the market for so long? I was kind of like questioning, because I was feeling like, this is a bit dodge, like, why? And he was like, oh, I took it off the market because I wasn't happy with...
He's a perfectionist.
He's a perfectionist. We have
And
the best landlord.
bear in mind, we were looking, that's why we didn't want to stay in the old place anyway for too long. We wanted a house that is like a blank canvas, new, everything refurbished, and that's what we were looking for. We didn't want anyone else's furniture. We wanted it brand new, and that is why he had to take it off the market, because he was making sure everything's perfect.
He made sure everything was...
So we moved into the newly refurbished place, but what happened was Joe keeps telling me that there is no round house, round window, and I'm like, how the heck can you tie in these kind of keys and signs that you're seeing? I'm like, okay, whatever. And then Joe told me to meet him after work at one place, and he's like, I'm just gonna show you something. And I'm like,
before that,
okay.
I was like, I'm taking a Brigitte. I was like, I don't care. Like, there's no window or anything, but who cares anymore? We don't
We just went like, let's go for this.
I think I called you or something, and we were like, okay, yeah, let's do it. He took me to this other part of the house. We don't have access to it. It's literally a tiny little room.
Like hidden AF, you know.
And the door has the letter D on it. And I was like, laughing to myself, demon. Like, literally I was joking. I was like, demon, like being silly.
My god, I completely it went out of my...
I don't know, I think I told you that. I was like well, whatever. But as he was opening the door, I seen D, and I was like, whatever. And he opens the door, and he's walking in to get the paperwork. And I'm like, the fuck? And now she has the picture.
There is a round window,
perfect.
hidden AF, and he was about to refurbish this space for his tiny little office of something. We don't know. It's his own tiny space. And then when I met Joe, he's like, I'm gonna show you something. And then bang, here it is. Very hidden. So I think the lesson here is just go with your gut, because we all felt this house. But you actually saw this window after saying yes to it. Yeah. You know?
I think that's it. Then we just need to kind of talk about how all of those songs have linked up for us.
Oh, yes.
So that we...
Oh my god, guys. You're gonna enjoy this. So you know the Demon song by Jacob Lee? We started listening to this guy. His lyrics are really deep, and he's a very conscious guy, and that's what he's trying to spread the word. Kind of like be conscious, be nice, and it's not only about 3D, you know. And we started listening to him, and I don't remember how I found out that he's gonna play in London, but we did, because we were following him, I think, on Insta or something. And we booked tickets. We're just gonna go there.
All my demons were almost defeated, but you took this side and you pulled them to freedom. I kept your secrets and I thought that you would do
was one more guy playing before him, you know, and what was his name? Freddie Long. And we fell in love with Freddie too. He has a very different vocals to Jacob.
No medication can save me, my mind is breaking. Can stop these hallucinations no more. It was caused by grace, trapped by the same mistakes. And all I know is that I'm trying to let go, but I've got no self-control.
And I was like, oh my god, I'm so hooked on gigs, because that's what I used to do. I used to go to gigs, but it used to be like metal gigs only. Metal gigs only. And and I was like, okay, I'm gonna check out this other guy, Freddie Long. Maybe he has something coming up. We went to the most amazing venue ever. We booked tickets with Freddie Long. It's in an old factory kinda, and it's recording studio, so you don't even feel like you are in a space for a concert, because the space is very intimate and tiny, and you have massive windows and you can see people recording music and stuff. You know, it was just amazing.
And all I know is that I'm trying to let go.
And there, with Freddie Long, funny thing was that there was another band playing Skinny Livin', where we saw that round window in the video at the very beginning, the woman standing next to the window.
I can see there's something blooming when I look into your eyes. I can see there's something blooming.
And we're like, just brain effed how everything ties in. You know, if you just listen to your gut and you don't question yourself too much, I think that's the main lesson of this video, is just listen to your gut. Sometimes the signs you're seeing, they're not so straightforward. You have the signs, this is saying you're going on the right track, but listen to your gut, because if we are looking only for that round window, we would probably not be even living here, somewhere else, and we would get something we don't even want. But just saying yes and trusting your intuition, and then afterwards you saw that round window.
That's always the way it is, though. You never understand things until
it
after.
happens. Yeah.
You don't understand until after, and that's always the way your intuition shocks you. Storytime is basically saying, like, you don't need to know everything. Just know that you're on the right track, and everything is going to be okay. And that's kind of what had happened to us with the whole house.
And even the thing before, the intro, when we were standing outside and deciding which topic to do, we first off thought about doing the scary stories, you know, like ghosts and stuff like that was happening over time. And that's when we stopped talking. I was like, Joe, I have an idea. And then he looks behind me and he's like, what the heck? And that's when he saw that light that we talked about in the intro.
I've never seen that before. I just know that I've been working with angels, but it's not very, like, you just know stuff. But this was like, what did I just see?
Yeah.
Very strange.
So we hope you have taken something away from this story time. Let us know if it was interesting, because we have many more. If we have time, we'll do those. And we'll see you soon.
Well, we'll see you very soon.
Bye for now.
Bye.